Welcome to Real Estate Game Changers Radio, featuring real estate trendsetters and industry influencers, sharing tips and strategies to help home buyers and home sellers get the most out of their next real estate transaction. Now, here's your host, Suzanne Doyle-Ingram.
This is your host, Suzanne Doyle-Ingram with Real Estate Game Changers Radio, and I'm very excited about today's interview because we have not one but two wonderful realtors on the line who are going to share lots of information about Las Vegas real estate with us. And I would like to introduce you to Harvey Blankfeld and Shelley Brown.
Hello. Hey, Suzanne.
Hey.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for being on the show. It's just fantastic to have partners because you can both, share with us some of your different experiences and your combined experience in real estate. So let's start with you, Shelley. Tell me a little bit about how you got into real estate and then how you ended up forming a partnership with Harvey.
Well, I started in real estate in 1988. Actually, my husband decided he wanted to be in real estate and said he needed somebody to go to school with him. So we both went, and he said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this." Well, by then I was hooked.
That's great.
So I started with the company that had because my background is in education, my degree's in French, so I wanted to go to the company that had the best training program. Mm-hmm. So I ended up with actually the company that I've been with for 28 years. Then my team just started to grow. Actually, my husband became my very first buyer's agent. So, he actually really did get in the business.
Oh, great.
And I started a team, and Harvey was somewhat of a new agent, and there was just an instant click and a style of doing business the same way that worked. And Harvey came on as the sales manager for the team and then the partner.
That's great. That's wonderful. And Harvey, tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you became a realtor.
You know, I was in the food and beverage business, Suzanne, and I originally came from Baltimore, moved out here in 1993, and helped open the MGM Grand.
Wow.
We had a couple of pizzerias in there, and so I helped run those pizzerias for the first 10 years I was here, but then I got into real estate in 2001 as a complement to that business because I didn't see it growing the way we had hoped, and so I decided I needed to do something else, and so I got into real estate, and then upon meeting Shelley and Joel and her husband Joel, I ended up Joel convinced me to finally quit my other job and just do real estate full time, which was a scary proposition from a guy who earned a paycheck every week of his life. You know,
yes, it is very scary, isn't it? It's a big leap.
It is, but fortunately and obviously, it's worked out for the best. It worked out very, very well.
I would say it worked out very well for you too. You're very, very successful. And I think part of what I really was excited about meeting you and interviewing you was because of how much you give back to your community. And I always say that's what makes a real estate game changer is not just the success that you've had financially, but all the people you've served throughout the years and all the work that you've done for your community. So can you tell me about the charity that you support?
Yeah, currently we're working with a charity called Chefs for Kids here in Las Vegas, and that's a group of and it's interesting because both Shelley and I have background in food a little bit as well. But we do an annual golf tournament for them every year, and we help them raise money then, and then we also participate in their annual fundraiser dinner that they have every year. And what they do is they go into the at-risk schools and they do nutritional education, and then they provide breakfast and lunches for those children in those at-risk schools. They also support them during the holidays with baskets and other things. And we've been associated with these guys for a long time. And I got to tell you, Suzanne, I couldn't agree with you more in terms of being considered successful. I think, and I know Shelley feels this way, we get so much more out of it than they do. I mean, we feel so much better about ourselves and about the things that we're doing because of this. And it just makes a huge difference in our lives to be able to support and help a wonderful charity like that.
It does. These chefs, I want to talk a little bit about the chefs. If you know anything about the food business, these guys work like dogs, hot kitchens, incredible hours, well into the evening, and then they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they go to these schools and they feed these kids. And it is one of the most wonderful group of people that I've ever met.
Yep.
That's amazing. Wow. And, people think of Las Vegas as so affluent and so glitzy, and especially all the tourists that go there, and they think, oh, wow, let's just, they go and spend money in Vegas. They don't realize there's a lot of at-risk kids, like there are in every city, and they need help. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Las Vegas has grown. I got here, I think I said in 1993, and we were about 600,000 people in the valley. Now we're well over 2 million.
Wow.
So it's tripled in population in a very short period of time. And I know Shelley's seen it grow even more since she's been here.
Right.
And what happens then is that, you grow into this big city, we're just like any other big city. We have, kids who need more help than others, and we have schools that need more help than others. And so it's very much important to the dynamic of Las Vegas. And I enjoy seeing the city grow up. I'm enjoying seeing the city become more mature. I'm excited about the opportunity or possibility of getting an NFL football franchise here. So it's been fun, but there's also still the things that people in the city need, like any other city.
And how are you two growing your business? How do you get new clients?
Shelley's had a huge database of people. I shouldn't say database. These are clients. These are people we know, and a lot of our business comes back from that. And I think that when you take good care of people, they remember you, and they come back. It's such an important element of life is to be involved in home ownership, and we're both passionate about that. And so a vast majority of our business just comes from our clientele. We also do a radio show, which is fun.
Oh, yes, I want to talk about that. Tell me about your radio show.
Every Saturday on KDWN AM720 here in Las Vegas, we're on, and we have a show called Las Vegas Real Estate Now.
Great.
And Shelley and I talk with a lot of local experts about current things that are impacting real estate here in our valley at this time, as opposed to, and the reason we did this to start, the reason I got involved with this to start was because there's so much press out there, and hopefully you can bear this out, Suzanne. There's so much press out there that's negative. If for instance, you're in a market that's trending towards buyers, that buyers are getting the upper hand in the market for whatever reason, the press is about how horrible it is for sellers.
I know.
And then when the market's more seller driven, it's how horrible it is for buyers. So we wanted to make sure we painted the proper picture of the market and show what's really happening. And there's always opportunities in any market. We want to make sure we highlight those opportunities in a realistic, black and white manner.
And positive
real estate
manner.
Is local. Yes, and real estate is local. The national statistics and trends don't necessarily coincide with what's happening in Las Vegas.
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Shelley, tell me about, since you've had such a long career in real estate and you've been so successful, what are some of the things that you have seen that have changed over the years?
Well, when I started, it's kind of funny to tell people this. We actually had MLS books.
Oh, I remember those books.
You waited to get the new book, and there was a little picture of the house, and you called the seller to make an appointment.
Yep.
And those books came out every 2 weeks. And then when we went to actually an online system with computers, I can remember some of the older realtors saying, I'm getting out of the business. I don't know how to use a computer. We didn't have cell phones. We had pagers. So everything has changed so quickly. The information is so fast. You get to actually tour the house online. But the one thing that never should change is the personal touch that you give to your clients for the business. And you ask how we get our clients, and I would say that we want to be their real estate agent for life. I've sold the parents a house, and then the kids a house, and then, the aunt and uncle, and you just, you have your family doctor, and we hope that we're your family real estate agent.
So, Shelley, no grandkids yet?
No, but no, I've not sold a grandkid yet. Give me a few more years.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
It will. It will.
Yeah, that's wonderful. My mom tells the same sorts of stories because she was in the business for 25 years, and she can tell you like the names and everything. She's, oh yeah, I remember the Fergusons down at the beach, and I sold them this house, and then their aunt, and then their sister-in-law, and then on and on and on. And there was something like 40 sales that came from one family, And
Yes.
Suzanne, Shelley's very much like that. She's got a mind like a steel trap. She can remember.
Oh yeah.
She's done lots of transactions. She can remember virtually every single one and the details within each transaction. I'm the opposite. I got to have my stuff in front of me.
I know, me too.
I can barely remember your name, Suzanne. I'm talking to you right now.
I know. And it seems like both of you are such positive, fun people, too. I bet when you're out showing houses, you can have a bit of fun with people.
It is fun. You know, everybody's different. Every real estate transaction is different. So it's fun to find out what makes them tick, what they're looking for. You know, they have one thing in mind and they tell you certain things, but you kind of have to wade through the information to figure out what's the most important thing for them and you want to have them make the best decision so that they say, wow, she did such a great job for me. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy.
And you need to guide them because sometimes you know better than they do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Suzanne, I talk about this sometimes on the show, and I've talked about it with clients before. There's an acronym, or there's a saying in real estate that buyers are liars. And a lot of people look at it as a derogatory term. I don't. I think that buyers are not liars because they intend to lie to us. Mm-hmm. I think buyers are liars because they don't know what they can do. Mm-hmm. They don't understand what's out there. So sometimes they think they want a 2-story, 2,500 square foot home over on the east side, and they end up with a 1-story, 1,800 square foot on the west side because actually ends up being a better fit for them. So part of our job is to help counsel them on what's possible, what's out there.
And listen.
And then listen, yes.
Yes, I think that's so true. And also, I think a lot of buyers now, or potential buyers, have so much information online, and some of it might be wrong, and they come to you and they think, that this is set, this is what I want, and then, you have to very delicately steer them some other way if you think they're making the wrong choice.
Right, and I have a great example of that. I had some people coming from Northern California, and they went online and they found a brand new home community, and the house was $280,000. We have very reasonable prices here, and they were absolutely certain they wanted to buy new. And we spent pretty much 4 to 5 hours at the new housing tracts. By the time they added all the upgrades of what they wanted, they were at $330,000, and they also wanted a pool, which they would have had to put in. But I had prepared some resale homes, and I said, just let me show you 2 resale homes. And, of course, they bought the resale home with the RV and parking that you can't get new. The pool's already in, and they got so lucky. They have a magnificent Las Vegas skyline view from their backyard.
Wow.
For $330,000.
For $330,000?
Yes.
Oh, that's so amazing. I think I want to move to Las Vegas.
There you go.
And we know some people can help you, Susan.
Yeah, really. And beautiful weather all year round.
Yep. Oh, yeah. When I moved here from Baltimore, that was one of the most shocking things. You come out to Vegas, all you expect to see is huge casinos and just hear slot machines ringing. But it's just a beautiful valley. The weather's tremendous. Like right now in October, it's just spectacular. 85 degrees, sunny, just gorgeous. Oh,
that's beautiful. And there's so much more to Vegas than the Strip. So what else can you do there off of the Strip? What's it like there?
There's lots of things you can do around the valley. There's the Red Rock Canyon. There's all kinds of things you can do outdoors. But the great thing about Vegas also, and one of the reasons my wife and I love it here so much, is a tremendous jumping off point for anywhere on the West. Mm-hmm. You want to go to L.A., you want to go to Phoenix, you want to go up to Utah, you want to go to any of the beautiful parks, any of the national parks, part of the U.S. park system out here. Shelley and I just went up to Seattle just recently, just to visit Seattle. It's a wonderful jumping off because it's right in the middle here, and then we'll go down to Palm Springs, and it's a wonderful spot, and we really enjoy it. And my wife and I, we've raised our kids. Shelley raised her girls here. We've raised our kids here. Mm-hmm. It's very much like I grew up in Baltimore, and I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of similarities. The big difference is the weather is just great. Yeah,
we have year-round activities. We have the hiking. We have the biking. Mm-hmm. We have the best food in the world here, whatever you want to eat. We have all of the shows. We actually have the Smith Center, which the sound system inside rivals the Kennedy Center, where we have Broadway shows and performers come. The 4 of us, Harvey and I with our spouses, we have the Broadway series show tickets, and we just saw Carole King the musical. I mean, you can do everything here.
Yeah, it really is. It's a major city. It's got everything.
And we don't gamble. Yeah, how amazing is that? We don't gamble.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart. Very smart. Yeah. That you can sure waste a lot of money doing that. That's for sure.
It's true. And, our kids, raising our kids, it's funny, Suzanne, all the bowling alleys and movie theaters here, they're in the casinos.
Right.
So when you want to go to a bowling alley or a bowling alley or a movie theater, you go to a casino, and the kids walk right through, because they're going to have you walk by the slot machines.
Right.
And I found, and a lot of people say, well, geez, do you want to raise your kids in that environment? I'm going to tell you, my kids are immune to that now.
Yeah.
You can have all the bells and whistles you want. They don't really care.
Right.
And so I'm going to tell you that from that perspective, people who are concerned about raising their children here, my kids have done phenomenally well. I'm fortunate. I got two great ones, but they've done phenomenally well.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. It's like if they're exposed to it, they're not all of a sudden going to say, oh, please, can I have a quarter? I want to go play, They'll probably just find it annoying. And do people still smoke in the casinos?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that's so disgusting. I remember going in there and just like, oh, I can't even breathe in here. It's so gross.
Most of the modern casinos now have what they call smoke eaters, so it's not as devastating as it was before. And so they're some of them, and they do have non-smoking areas now too.
They do.
Then all the restaurants are non-smoking in the casinos.
Oh, that's
so you don't have to worry about the guy next to you smoking a cigarette while you're eating your beautiful meal. But there are some non-smoking areas within the casino, so it's gotten better. It has gotten better.
Yeah. And speaking of restaurants, I think it's amazing that I was saying to someone else the other day, you don't even have to go to New York anymore because some of the greatest chefs in America have restaurants in Vegas as well.
Indeed. Yeah.
We're all here.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, when I go, sorry, go ahead, Harvey.
I was going to say, I think if you're a chef and you're a prominent chef, you want to have a presence in Vegas because of the number of people who come through here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I go there, I think, okay, how many eating opportunities do I have in 4 days?
Yep. You're just like me, Suzanne. And when I travel, it's all about the food. It's all about the food.
Oh, absolutely. I know. We live near Whistler, BC, the ski mountain, and so that's sort of our playground where we go and play, and the food there is really, really good too. But it's so funny. I mean, and it's funny that your charity you support is about food. I find that I volunteer at my food bank here, and sometimes I think, oh, there's a bit of a pattern here.
Yeah.
No wonder I'm overweight. Yeah.
Yep. I love to eat.
Yeah, me too. So getting back to real estate, Shelley, I want to ask you, who's your favorite kind of client to work with? Is it like new home buyers or seniors or, what's your favorite?
I like first-time buyers.
Yeah.
They are very, very intense, but my background is in education. I always wanted to teach, so there's a lot of teaching involved with the first-time buyer, a lot of education of how the process works, what's available. But they are so excited when they get a home, and it's just a great experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. And I imagine you feel their joy too.
I do feel their joy. And then I would probably say my second is seniors. I have a lovely couple now. They're 87 and 90. Mm-hmm. I've known them 20 years, and I touch base with them generally once a year, and he will always say, I'm not ready to sell yet, Shelley. I'm very spry.
Oh.
And we just sold their house this past weekend, and they don't use a computer, and they don't have a cell phone.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're going into an apartment because they don't want to leave a mess for the other one. They're very healthy. But they've decided that they don't want to leave the other one with dealing with getting rid of the house. So we've done all that, and they are the cutest couple. I love them so much. And so it brings out really helping them and picking them up and driving them to the title company and explaining everything. And he called me this morning. He had an inspection, and he called me this morning for the name of a handyman for repairs. And I said, Ed, they haven't asked for any repairs yet because your house is almost perfect. But when they do, I'm actually going to do that for you. I'll get it all set up and take care of it and get the repair person. And he goes, you're doing everything for me. I love you.
Oh,
so cute.
Oh, and I feel like you're such a nurturer. I think you just want to take care of everything.
You've got her, Suzanne. You've got her pegged. That's absolutely right.
Well, I'm looking at your picture right now as I'm talking to both of you, and I feel like we're going to be best friends.
There it is.
I'm sure that's what happened.
I had to pay that guy a lot of money to stand in for me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so you probably have a list of all the handymen and all the inspectors and everyone that you recommend, so that it makes it easier for them, for all your clients.
Yes. Try to take care of all the little details for them, so they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, if we can make it easy on them, moving is always such a stressful thing, and we understand that. And when we're working with a client, we're going to make sure we express to them that there's no such thing as a silly question, because we know while we do this a lot, they don't. And they need to, they're going to need help every step of the way. And one of the things Shelley's taught me is that we need to be there every step of the way. We go to all our signings. We make sure that we handle all of the details within the transaction so that the client is not wanting or needing of anything. They can just follow along and make sure they sign when they need to sign, and get to the finish line without hopefully as much stress as we can avoid.
Oh, that's good. That's great. And yeah, you guys just take care of everything. That's awesome. Hey, I want to ask you again, talk about your radio show a little bit. You mentioned it's Saturday mornings, and it's local.
Yep.
When I was doing a little research on you two, I saw something called that you say your radio show is basically revolves around the 3 E's. Can you tell me more about that? Yes. Educate, empower, and engage.
Yeah, what we did, again, when we started the radio show, we did it at a time when there were a lot of buyers who were afraid because they'd been through the mid-2000s when they lost their homes. And remember, Las Vegas was the eye of that storm. I mean, we had grown so fast at maybe the worst possible time. So there were lots of people in financial stress here with regard to their homes. And we're still some people here, but for the most part, we've kind of recovered from that. But we really wanted to do it to encourage people to get back in there, get back on the horse, and get out of it. So we wanted to educate them about what was out there, what was available. Like Shelley said, don't pay attention to the national press or even sometimes the local press who doesn't speak in a way that they speak in a way to sell papers as opposed to a way to look at the opportunities that might be there for you. And then to empower those people who hopefully learn this thing, say, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can buy a home and I can put 3.5% down. And I can get this thing. And maybe I can get some help from the state of Nevada because that's what they're doing now. There's all kinds of opportunities for people. We wanted to make sure they were aware of them as opposed to being afraid of the process. Yeah. And then to engage the market. I want them to actually do it. Don't just think about doing it, but do it. Jump in. Be a buyer. Be a seller. Be involved in the market in a way that you need, and it's going to be helpful to your family. Owning a home is one of the most important financial decisions families make. And too many people were afraid of it. And too many of this younger generation, I think a lot of them are just going to be renters because it's safe, it's easy, and there are risks involved with home ownership. But I think that the financial rewards of home ownership over the long haul almost always bear out, almost always come to fruition.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying about educating them, too, because people really don't know what they don't know.
Indeed. They don't understand. They hear things. They hear one thing. Like they keep hearing. I tell you, Shelley, how many times have we heard the bubble's going to burst again? How many times over the last 5 years, people kept saying, oh, my goodness. And the truth is the Las Vegas market is still 30% below our peak, where other markets have already either attained or surpassed their peaks from the mid-2000s. We're still 30% below it. Not that I'm anxious to get back there. But we've come back in a way that I think is gradual enough, and if Las Vegas is attractive enough, I think that I'm very excited and very bullish on our market.
I think, too, that a lot of education is required for people who were negatively affected by what happened in the mid-2000s. And I was speaking with a mortgage professional the other day, and she works with a lot of people who have declared bankruptcy. And she says so many of them don't realize they can buy a house again one day, but they have a lot of shame around it, which they really shouldn't, because so much of what happened wasn't their fault.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was pervasive. It affected all of us. There's not a person out there that wasn't affected by that awful situation in the mid-2000s. And that's a great point, Suzanne, because there's lots of people, once you're 4 years away from a short sale or a foreclosure, you can buy a home again. And people don't know that. You're right.
Yeah. And if they just come and talk to you or call into your show, do you let people call into your show?
Occasionally, but most of the time we tape it ahead. But they're experts that we bring on. Right. The experts we bring on, these are the topics we get into with them very often.
Good. That's great. Yeah, I mean, just being able to say, hey, did you know? And the listeners are like, well, I didn't know that. that's fantastic.
And we do live shows periodically, and they call in. Actually, we kind of enjoy that. Shelley and I like to have the live call-in shows. Oh, yeah,
I love that, too. That's great. So, Shelley, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. I'd love for you to tell me how you two and your whole team, maybe you could talk a little bit about your team too, but how you're different than your competitors.
How we're different is when we designed the team, and you said nurture. We designed the team to nurture new agents to come into our group to get more one-on-one attention from us to help them build their own business. And it's that old line, I'm not going to give you fish, I'm going to teach you how to fish.
Right.
So we have taught them how to build their own business within the structure of the team, get their own clients, build their own database, set up their own systems to keep in contact with people, and basically to do what we did, but within our little group versus being in a giant company with 1,000 agents and not being able to get to the broker when you have a question, not knowing how to respond to something on a contract. We wanted to make it a little microcosm of the big company that we work for and to be close to everybody. So I would say we call everybody on our team a partner. If you go out with them let's say they need you to go with them on a listing appointment because they're brand new and they've never had a listing before, I will go out as their partner, not their leader or their boss, and, work with them one-on-one to help them be successful. And I would say that's probably how we're different. A lot of teams, you work under the team leader. Every transaction goes under the team leader. The team leader's name is on the sign. The team leader gets the credit for everything. We don't operate under that structure. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own signs, their own business, so that, and we've had people that were brand new that left and they have their own businesses and they're very successful. And we're very proud of that, mm-hmm. that they made it. They took what we taught them and they went out and they did it on their own.
Oh, that's great. And there's no hard feelings. You know that you're basically there to nurture and train people. If they stay, they stay. And if they go, you wish them well.
Yeah, we're proud of them.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I think, and I think Shelley pointed it out, that it's very important to know that when you're on a team within a big company, we're like a little mini broker within the big broker, and our clients get the benefit of that. Yeah. They get the benefit of the individual service that the agent provides, then the support that the team provides, and then, of course, the ultimate support that the company provides at Berkshire Hathaway. So they're getting a lot of support from that agent who's on our team.
Yeah, and it comes down to trust, too, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed,
they feel comfortable and they can trust you.
Yeah,
clearly. That's maybe the most important part of real estate is earning someone's trust and then maintaining it, keeping that trust.
Absolutely, and you guys have such a good reputation. It's this referral after referral, I bet.
Yeah, I think when you can hear it in Shelley's voice. When you're passionate about it, and when you enjoy it, it's kind of easy. It's fun.
I know. I feel the same way about my job. I love it. Yeah.
I won't say it's easy, but it's fun. Definitely fun.
So, Harvey, now the question for you is, what makes you guys real estate game changers?
I think that Shelley hit on a lot of the most important points, but I think that the thing is that when you're looking to buy or sell a home these days, there's so many opportunities for you. You can choose a discount person. You could choose to try to do it on your own. The thing that I think that we bring is a wealth and breadth of experience. There's so much that we've experienced. I've experienced since 2001, Shelley since 1988. That there's very little that's going to surprise us. Not that we don't learn all the time, because no two transactions are ever alike. Mm-hmm. But I think we've experienced enough so that when people hire us, they know they can feel comfortable. And I think that comfort is worth money to people, and not that we basically charge the same to all of our clients, and it's a simple basic rate. But what I want to emphasize is that as a client of ours, that you're going to get quality service, you're going to get to the finish line in the best possible way, and usually, quite honestly, with the most money in your pocket as a seller, and hopefully as little money out of your pocket as a buyer.
Yeah, that's a really great point. The experience really matters. It saves time, it saves stress, it saves money. Because any situation that comes at you, your reaction is, oh, seen this before, Yeah, nothing can really throw you off. And I think that so many times people choose a realtor that's their next door neighbor or their cousin or their nephew, that just because out of loyalty they want, but you really have to pick someone experienced.
Yeah, I think that when I was new, I didn't feel that way. But
no, exactly. Easy to say now.
But I certainly do now. I think that when you have Shelley on your side in the middle of a transaction, you know that you're getting all the best representation. And usually, and I'm going to tell you, more times than not, it means more money in you. That's more money in your pocket. It really does, because there are so many elements to a transaction where money comes into play, and if everything's done right and properly, that saves you money.
Oh, absolutely. And saving $1,000 here and $500 there all really adds up too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think not just Shelley, but everyone on your team that's been trained by you and Shelley can be, really, really helpful.
We have a great group of people, great group of professionals, very caring, knowledgeable people on our team.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they all want to be on our team, and I think they all want to be on our team because they really appreciate the way Shelley has taught. They really appreciate the way we treat our clients, and they embrace that. They embrace it like any sporting team. You want to embrace the philosophy of your coach. Well, that's what happens on our team. They embrace it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, and I really think you're real estate game changers because of not only your success, but what we were talking about with your charities that you support and the way you educate, empower, and engage with your clients, and your radio show, everything. You guys are just fantastic, and I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, for having us. Thank you so much.
Harvey, can you tell us again when your radio show is on, and also your website and how people can get a hold of you?
Of course, yeah. We're on AM720 KDWN, and you can get it on most of your Apple devices or your iPads or whatever. You can just look it up on there and listen to the show, or anywhere around the country. But we're on AM720 here in Las Vegas, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Okay. And if you wanted to listen to some of the previous shows, you can go to our website for the radio show, which is RERNLV.com. Again, that's RERNLV.com. And then if you want to talk to either Shelley or I about real estate, you can go to our website at www.brownblankfeld.com. Again, that's www.brownblankfeld.com. Or you can call me at 702-203-1165. Again, 702-203-1165. We'd certainly be happy to help any of your listeners, Suzanne.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. And thank you too, Shelley.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Suzanne.
This has been another episode of Real Estate Game Changers Radio with your host, Suzanne Doyle-Ingram. To hear all episodes featuring our hand-picked real estate game changers, visit us online at www.realestategamechangersradio.com.